Welcome to episode number 133. I'm your host, Tamera Gaede, and today's guests are going to discuss survival strategies right after this.
Gather round the table, pull up a chair. Real talk, real growth, we're taking you there. From the first handshake to the final key. The wisdom you need to set your business free. It's the closing table with lawyer's title. Tamera Gaede, she's your main arrival. Yeah, Tamera Gaede makes the vision clear. With lawyer's title, your best year's here.
Welcome back to episode number 133. Again, I'm your host, Tamera Gaede. I've got some returning guests today. We're going to unpack a lot of what's going on in the market right now. And we had a big announcement again today. But let me do my introductions first. I have returning guest Nick Good. He's the team leader of the Good Home team. His 2025 production was $70 million. And he's also the best-selling author of The Six-Figure Agent. I also have Brian Force back on the show. Brian, it's been longer for you.
Been a long time. Thank you for having me
We were
back.
at their studio.
We were. That's right.
On the big stage.
Yes.
Yeah, we had everybody on that one. Well, we're in Jesse's studio, tour studio now.
It's nice to play a home game every once in a while.
Yeah. Anyway, Brian is the executive director of productivity for United Real Estate. And you guys are on my segment, Inside the Minds of Power Players.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is reserved for the big hitters. So
Which one's the power player in this group?
you both are.
No.
I'm not going to stack you above Brian.
No, I
Not
figured
to his face.
I was
No, I'm
gonna
kidding.
I was gonna stack Brian. I'll tell you.
Brian above you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That wasn't what I was going to expect.
Oh,
you to
wow.
come out of your
Wow,
mouth.
yeah.
But anyway, so we're going to talk about how to be a future-proof realtor.
I like it.
Okay.
Let's dive in.
Well, let's dive in because this is this is a repeat question. I've asked it on a couple of other podcasts and in my masterminds. As a boots on the ground everyday realtor, what do you think about all the noise going on in the national real estate right now? And we just had an announcement this morning. I was like, I didn't see this one coming.
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was. We were in a group text. We all thought it was satire at first. I thought it was,
Yeah.
and not just. I guess the last time I was in a Bed Bath and Beyond, I didn't think the company was in shape to be buying anything.
No, and they're still in existence. I think Dawn asked that question on somebody's post this morning. But anyway, they are still in existence. They've been online, but I didn't realize Overstock bought them.
I learned a lot about Bed Bath and Beyond this morning. Yes.
You read the same Emin article I did.
Bed Bath and Beyond went bankrupt. Overstock.com bought them.
Yeah.
And then Overstock changed their name to absorb the name into Bed Bath and Beyond. And then they bought Fathom, I think for like 54 million.
Yeah.
Does that seem like a lot?
I think it was.
I mean, did they have 20,000 plus agents? They had
I don't know
15
how
to
many
20,000
they have
agents.
now.
I'll say look, I mean, if I'm a Fathom agent, I'm not talking, it's not a negative thing. I would want my company to be worth more than $53 million. And
What was REMAX valued at?
REMAX was bought for $530 million.
Okay, that sounds
Where did I get
better.
850 from? It's a different acquisition.
53.
Was that? Oh, that was Taylor
There's
Morrison.
so many, it's hard to keep up.
Taylor, well, we talk about a new acquisition every week.
Every week. And that's kind of part of the point is how much do you care?
You asked a really good question just a second ago. As a boots on the ground agent, just growing their business.
Yes.
How do you, block out all of the noise? I find that sometimes we spend so much time talking about the industry and talking about the business as if that's part of being in the business of building your business, right?
Yeah.
We spend so much time online. Nick and I, know this from running a pretty sizable Facebook group here, that we spend a lot of time talking about the goings on of our industry. Mm-hmm. And I just think if we add all that up, I mean, what is it doing for us to focus on those things? And I'm not saying turn a blind eye to them. Maybe there are some things that are relevant, especially if you're with the brokerage that's being acquired or involved, right?
Yeah.
But on a day-to-day basis, I think actionable item one is do everything you can to block out as much noise as possible. It doesn't affect you, and focus on dollar productive activities. It just feels like something we haven't talked about since like pre-COVID is like get up every day and lead generate and nothing else will really matter all that much.
I find it interesting because I've listened to a few of your episodes on your new podcast, and those are the kind of things that you're talking about, like what an everyday agent needs to do to continue to grow their business. You're not. You might talk about these kinds of things, the acquisitions or whatever on the Facebook page, but your content on your podcast are nuts and bolts building business. You guys actually talked about CRMs one day and blew me away. I didn't know you'd ever talk about those on the podcast, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean that show This Week in DFW Real Estate is that we designed that show differently than the only real estate podcast worth listening to. That was more national brands, what's going on, real, raw, relatable content. This is how do we get to the nitty gritty? Real estate agents are suffering right now. The last show that we did, what we said, the reports were 200,000 agents have left over the last
200,000 agents
have left NAR. So
NAR.
Yeah. So the question is, did they give up their license?
Wait,
since
when?
2020?
I think it was two or three.
Yeah, 2022, 2023. But what we are now seeing is that are they giving up their license, dropping the membership, and still selling just because of the new law changes, or we're just not seeing them sell as much. I mean, our industry is now dominated as a part-time career, and people are and working full-time jobs. So, to me, do we cut the noise out? Yes and no. I mean, I think the cool thing that we're seeing right now is that we're seeing brokerages being bought by, non-real estate related firms. I mean, Keller Williams was acquired by a private capital firm out of Utah. Right. That kind of started it. I know JPAR was acquired by I think another capital firm out of Utah as well. And so you're starting to see these non-industry related companies coming into our space. And you see the REMAX acquisition of a Real was started in 2014, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're baby.
Yeah. They're
in their infancy
compared
stages.
to REMAX that was built in 1953 or 1955,
right? And
they were at one time the behemoth.
Yep.
So you're just seeing.
And to me, that acquisition made sense. I mean, Real wanted the agent count and the international presence, right? And then REMAX needed the boost with the technology, and helping their agents day to day more. So to me, that acquisition made sense.
Look, we didn't make any friends on our podcast talking about it because Brian's.
I know. I almost want to ask you your predictions.
Yeah,
now.
Brian's prediction.
You brought it up.
Yeah, Brian's prediction is that the REMAX name won't be around over the next 5 years. That it would be Real, and
RealMAX?
Yep, that's kind of the talk, RealMAX. But ultimately, did it make sense? Possibly. I mean, REMAX agents have defended their per agent productivity, and but from what I've seen as a brand and a brokerage, they were, if you were investing in a company, that's not a company to invest in. And it's not throwing shade. They were just starting to lose that. They lost steam and lost momentum.
They did.
And
like Coldwell Banker Residential Mortgage did. Here
unfortunately. So if we look at as real estate agents, what do we need? We are 100% commission only. We eat what we kill.
Yep.
And unfortunately, we do need some of that hype to keep us going. And so, when I see in the Facebook group, why are we focusing on that? Just go sell houses. Well, agents need that momentum. They need something to look forward to.
Yeah.
It gets boring just selling houses. Does it not? It's like we have to get used to the boring. So why don't we go back and start looking at, all right, this is the hype, a new company. Everyone loves new beginnings.
Yep.
Think about it that way. Everyone loves that endorphin rush of something new. Hey, I just started this. I went to this new company and now I get to go brand new signs. As a high producing agent and running a large team, we know that that's not the highest dollar productive activity out there, but people need that just to keep that momentum going and to keep that almost that drive alive.
Well, we need some juice. We need some fun. We need something positive. We need some positive juice in our industry right now. I was talking to another client of mine, and he was like, it's not fun anymore. And we started looking back. I mean, when was it fun? Meaning, you remember the days where we were all kind of seeing each other all the time? We were going to events. We were all doing great business.
I do and I don't. Because
you do and you don't.
We were partying a lot back then. So there are gaps for some of us.
Well, but you understand
yes, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, it was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
It was pre-COVID. So we've had really challenging, stressful markets. COVID was obviously the other side of this, right? Where everybody was making money. But, kind of wondering when we're going to just get back to business and start to have some fun again doing it.
What are these, in that same vein, what is the fact that all of these acquisitions, mergers, all these things happening in such a condensed period of time, what does that tell you about our industry as a whole right now?
Well, I'm not sure where you're going with that. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of challenges with profitability. And I think, and the technology's moving so quickly. I mean, it'll make your head spin. We're going to dive into a little bit of that. But I do have some clients that are technology exhausted or fatigued as well, trying to figure out how to keep up with it. And the stress level of examining what they need to pay attention to or what they don't need to pay attention to. So I understand the forward momentum. I mean, we've seen consolidations in the boards too. We're going to continue to see movement happen in our industry. We've had a lot of indie brokers locally get absorbed by bigger brokers too. So I don't think the movement's going to stop right now. I think this is a result of our current market conditions. You couldn't have hit the nail on the head anymore.
All these companies that are getting acquired wouldn't be for sale if their agent count was increasing and if their per agent productivity was on the rise, right? So this is when we talk about taking positives away and things like that. You can't stop Mother Nature. This is just the part of the cycle that we're in.
Sure.
The part of the cycle that we're in right now is the consolidation part of the business cycle. The thing to take away from that as positive is this is the active thinning of competition for your business, right? How rosy lenses we look at the past with, right? When we look at the days where we had 6.5 million transaction sides nationwide and all the amazing things that we felt like were going on in our world. Well, I also remember those times and how many listings we lost because it was like, my cousin just got her license or my grandma.
Yes, you're right.
Your cousin doesn't have a license anymore, right?
Or what about all the iBuyers?
Exactly.
Right.
There was a whole different subset of predators in our industry that were taking market share, right? If we think about this like Wild Kingdom style, right? Healing hurts.
Yeah.
Right? This is part of the healing process. You can't just go back to a normal, stable market overnight. You have to go through a difficult process. And all of that is just the mentality you bring towards it. Right now, boots on the ground agents need to understand that this just might not seem like the fun part, but this is the part where if you just buckle down and focus on fundamentals, a lot of your competition is thinking about what else they should be doing because it's really too hard to grow their real estate business right now, and they are voluntarily stepping out of your way. And that might not feel that good right now, but it's going to feel real good in 2 years.
Who was the guy the name that you brought up before we started recording? I'm like, I love that guy. I'm blanking now. 52 has been challenging.
Ricky?
Yes, Ricky.
Yep.
That's what he talks about. Nuts and bolts. Pay attention to your business. Don't listen to all of this stuff. If you tune into him, tune into y'all's podcast. That's what you guys talk about.
Sure.
So,
well, the biggest thing out of all this is like what Brian just said is like the agents are the easy way is gone. So, even pre-COVID, that was still an easy way. If you go look at the history of our DFW market, we have not seen inventory levels this high since really 2003, right? And
you're not counting 2007, 8.
No, 2007, 2008. If you go look at our trends, we actually were technically in a seller's market. We were under 6 months of inventory as a whole. Last week. So we were under 6 months of inventory as a whole. Now you had some sub pockets that were sitting at 10, 12 months of inventory. We just here locally, we didn't experience that nationwide decline, right? When I was living in Richardson, Texas, we were still in my little neighborhood, we were still having multiple offers. We were still having houses selling less than 30 days in that little pocket.
Yeah.
And so
it's still very community driven around here too.
Yeah. So as a whole, if we go and look at this just in the last 3 years, I mean, we peaked inventory in the last 3 years back in 2025, right? 2025. But if you really look at, we've not seen this amount of inventory since 2003. Look at 2000.
Yeah, no
ever. I mean, we just started recording it in 2003.
This is interesting information. Yeah.
So when we think about what are agents doing today, the problem is that agents the easy way is gone. we are no longer training ourselves to actually be salespeople. When I first got into this industry, all the continuing education, I remember it was like how to dress for success. And it was like, if you wear gold tie, it's a power move.
I miss those days.
It was teaching, right? You don't even hear about neuro-linguistic programming languages in NLP.
Language of sales.
Right, language of sales. We are salespeople. We have gotten away from that because we've gotten into this social media content creation, wannabe stars, and trying to build this reality TV show online when really we're not, for the most part, we're not those people. And so when you think about all of this, they're over here today, real estate agents are more valuable than they've ever been. And I said that during COVID too, right? So I do believe that right now our stock value is almost at an all-time high because sellers need our expertise and guidance because I'll give you a real life example. I have a buyer. He's a disabled veteran, right? Elderly, Marine Corps guy. And
that one hits me.
Right? Yep. I knew that would hit. But at the same time, he made an offer on a house. And in this little pocket of Arlington, these houses take over 74 days to sell. Well, this home had been on the market. This is the second go around. It expired the first time, second go around. We come in with an offer. Obviously, he's doing his VA loan, 100% financing. We're building in closing cost. We make a first offer. That's pretty fair for the market. And the agent doesn't, in my opinion, has not done a very good job of setting the table with her client. And so, the counter was massive reduction in commission. They weren't really want to pay commission. We asked for closing costs. They reduced half of the closing costs in half. And I said, we got to read the room here, right? If you're going to come back with a counter and we're going 100% finance, and I told them that we're building the closing costs because they don't really have a lot of down payment or a little extra funds. Why are you cutting this in half? And why are you cutting the 3%, whatever I'm charging? Why are you cutting that in half? Let's figure out how to build it in.
Yeah.
So, long story short, we ended up going $14,000 over their asking price, right? We go under contract. We build in closing costs, everything. We go under contract. And there's 3 repairs that need to come up. The roof needs to be repaired or replaced. It's a 14-year-old roof. The HVAC, the air conditioning unit's not cooling, right? It's not cooling within its intention. And it's got a ton of rat crap all in it. So we wanted to replace the insulation that's original. There's burrows, tunnels, and rat poop everywhere. So we wanted those 3 items. And we said, hey, look at the rest of this report. They could ask for a ton of other things. They come back saying, we'll look at the roof. The quote to do all the rodent repairs was $8,000. We'll only give you $4,000, and we're not doing the air conditioning. That's not cooling, by the way.
Right.
Wow.
That deal's dead, by the way.
The deal's dead.
Terminated.
Yeah,
we're going to look at other
I
properties.
mean,
You got other options?
Required by the VA loan, so
100%.
A lot of them are.
And when I talked to that agent, I said, hey, do you understand it's 74 days on average on the market? You're the second agent that has been brought in. She's like, I've relayed that to her. I'm like, are we actually setting the table? You have a legitimate buyer who is willing to go above and beyond, and they showed their hand, their good intention hand. We as agents are not messengers. Our fiduciary is to help, one, represent them, also to get to an end completion of their goal, which is to sell the house. Yeah. My job as a buyer's agent to get my client into the house, right, and to negotiate, on their best behalf of what they want to do. Yep. I didn't think it was smart to go 14,000 above, and I said it, but they wanted this house. Yep. So this is what they wanted. You as a listing agent, your job is to sell the house and find that best terms and the best outcome and not let deals fall apart.
Yeah, for me, it's hard to watch. I mean, we see the contract terminations come in too. And when I see an influx of contract terminations, I'm going in and asking escrow why. Yeah. Why do you know why the deal fell apart? And obviously it's during the option period. And sometimes it's appraisal and but a lot of times right now it's repairs. Mm-hmm. And people are getting stiff about these roofs because insurance companies have gotten stiff about the roofs. So I always am curious, why did we let the deal fall apart when houses are sitting on the market longer? Yep. Why did we have to let the deal fall apart? Was there something we could have done to try to bring this together? The goal is to get to the closing table. The seller wants to sell the house. The buyer wants to buy the house. Yep. So how do we got to get it together.
I mean, Nick, you are 100% right. Nick just alluded to it. Right? Yeah. Behind every terminated deal, the more often than not, behind most terminated deals, there are agents that probably didn't set the right expectations up front, and then didn't have strong enough conversations with their clients when things were going, sideways because expectations weren't set right up front. Nick just made a really good point. You're not a messenger. You're not a messenger. You're a fiduciary and a guide. They're hiring you for your expertise. If the idea is, I relayed that to them and the deal still falls apart, what could we have done to bring these two parties closer together? Because at the end of the day, we all want the same thing.
But I think that's the approach. What do we have to look at it that way when we're at the table with our clients. We're trying to get this deal put together. So how do we be a little flexible, or how do we, meld ourselves together to get this contract to stay?
I'll jump in on this one.
I'm sorry, Brian, I cut you off.
Oh, please. No. This is great.
Unfortunately, what I have found, and we all do this, I have to always take a step backwards, is agent ego. We have to remember that this is not our house. This is not our money, right? And we're not the ones laying our head down at night. We're not the ones making the mortgage payment. But when you look at how agents treat this, they get too emotionally invested, right? And sometimes it's a financial reason. They need this deal to close so bad because that's the only closing check that they have coming up. Maybe they're hurting financially. So a lot of it is their agent ego, their personal ego, just getting involved. When we look at the longevity of what I've had in this is I've had to take it out. I remember there was times when I would get in just massive blowups with agents, like, screaming matches over the phone. And it's like, what's the point of this? This is not our house.
Yeah, no.
Right?
I don't understand
that. And as you learn this, it's like, guys, our job again is one goal and one goal only. And it's very similar. You have your client, I have mine. But guess what? There's only one house. There's one contract. And we need to, if we've agreed on a contract, we need to see how we can get through and finish it through. Now, there's some times that they fall apart because there are some unrealistic requests buyers can have, or
there has been some of that,
or there's unrealistic turn downs from sellers, and they want what is going to eventually be their problem to be that new buyer's problem, and that buyer doesn't want to absorb that problem at this current price point,
and they can't. It's too expensive to replace a roof these days.
So our job is to take that step backwards and to detach emotionally. This is not our house. It's not our mortgage. And again, how can I get to the closing table so that my buyers at the end of the day are happy, that my sellers at the end of the day are happy, right? Because there's always going to be frustrations and little landmines that pop up throughout the transaction. And I remind my clients, I said, is this going to matter in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Are you going to go back and say, man, Nick did this, and what we were 2 days late on closing, and it's Nick's fault? Are you gonna talk about that 3 years later? That caused so much of a problem that you're still talking about it. It's not.
You sold the house. You bought the house. You've moved on. It's interesting. I heard about a seller that refused to come to the closing table recently because they felt like their deal wasn't good enough. And they were literally, it was this day before closing.
Oh, geez.
Like, you have to, sorry, seller, you have to. But, okay, so some of the things that I'm hearing, man, we're so off script. There are some questions I do want to ask you today, though.
Deal.
But, the things that I'm hearing about that are bringing agents lots of fatigue is the unrealistic sales price. They can't get the seller to come on board with what the market value is of the home. We throw it on the market for 2 weeks their way. It doesn't do anything, of course. We've lost time on the market. That whole scenario. That's one. The unrealistic, like when you're trying to negotiate repairs and some of the unrealistic expectations the buyers have brought to the table, thinking that they're going to be able to get all this extra stuff done when there's no justification to do whatever it is they're asking. Sure. Right? There's certain things. I wish we would have a class let's have an event on these things,
Let's do
right?
it.
The nuts and bolts, everyday problems that the realtors are facing because of the market conditions right now. And I can tell you what all of them are. I'm sure you guys have a pretty good idea too. But, those are the things that realtors want help understanding how to fix or right the ship on, right?
But do they really? Let me ask you this. Do they really want that help?
Well, I'm assuming so. I don't have any other. Why are you asking that question? I'm not sure I'm following.
Because they're not. Number one is we're not training for the job. We're not preparing for the job. And what I mean by that is what you just said is like, we're not setting proper expectations. When are expectations set? Do you do it beforehand, during the transaction, or after the transaction?
No, at the listing appointment or
beforehand, right? Yes. Beforehand. And so what you just said is they're not doing what they most likely aren't doing. They're not doing a true buyer consult. They're not doing a true seller consult. When they're going through it, like for my buyers, I'll give you a 60-second overview of what I do with my buyer consults, right? When I go through my whole presentation, which I have a full presentation on, right? At the end of the presentation, I say, Tamera, could you see how valuable when hire me, everything that we're going to do to help you find that perfect home for you? Could you see how it is valuable and hire me? 100% they say yes. Great. So it sounds like, Tamera, what it feels like, we're ready to go ahead and get started. And I go over the buyer's representation agreement. I get them to sign it. No pushback on whatever I charge. I get zero pushback on it. Right. So we're done with that. By the way, as I'm getting them signing, here's what I tell them. Here's what's going to happen, Tamera. You're going to go and start looking at all these houses and I want you to start favoring them. Right. So what we're going to do is you're going to take everything you're looking at, you're going to make a list and you're going to call it your top 10. Out of your top 10, Tamera, you're going to narrow that top 10 down. You're going to eliminate 5. Right? We're going to call it your favorite 5. And then from there, Tamera, what you're going to do, because I'm not the one living in your house. I'm not the one making your mortgage payment. I'm not laying my head down in that bed at night. And so you got to be happy with this house that you're going to buy. So you're going to go and drive by your favorite 5. And you're going to do it at preferably whatever time that you're leaving the house. I want you to see it morning, evening, and on the weekends, right? Because I don't want you hating your neighbors. I don't want you hating your commute. And so from that, you're going to cut down 2. We're going to go from your favorite 5 down to your best 3. By the way, over 87% of my clients, when we get to their best 3, be prepared. I want you to mentally open up and be prepared that you're going to be ready to make an offer on that one of those 3 houses. Can we do that? They're going to say yes. Great. Also, when we make an offer on one of those 3 houses, what we're going to do, we're going to go over the inspection report. There's a lot of moving parts that's going to happen. But what we're not going to do is we're not going to nitpick the inspection report. You're buying a pre-owned home. Do we understand what that means? And most of the time they say yes. If not, I said, let me explain that a little bit further.
Yeah.
Right? We're only going to look at the major items: roof, electrical, plumbing, foundation, right? And air conditioning. These are the things that number one, if they go out, you need to have it. You need to have air conditioning.
You have to have those things.
Right?
And they're expensive.
And insurance needs to cover on the roof.
Right.
So we're going to look at those. If hopefully we don't have to worry about that on an inspection report, so we can get down to our secondary items to worry about. So I set that up front. And then when we go and start looking at, I remind them. Do you remember that conversation we had when we were signing that buyer's representation agreement? Yes.
I think a reminder is really important.
Right? Because they
get lost in the whole process.
No, they get lost. We get amnesia. We're like, that's not going to happen to me. And then it comes up and they're like, I'm worried about this. And I'm like, so we're not worrying about, the, whatever it could be. It could be
the wall paint.
Yeah. We're not worried about
whatever it is.
Yeah. We're not worried about the doorbell not working. You're probably most likely going to get a Ring doorbell and use utility-direct.com and get your services set up.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. But that's the thing.
I knew it was coming.
We're not setting the table.
Well, maybe that's what we talk about. How to set the table.
Well, that is it, right? That's the whole thing. Can you imagine if a buyer that was that prepared made an offer on a home with a seller that was that prepared? Do you think that deal is going to fall apart if both of those agents in their initial consultations and then every interaction beyond set those types of expectations, right? Got that type of commitment before they even started the transaction process? Why do people terminate during inspection periods on the seller side? Why do they not agree on the buyer side? Why do they end up terminating? It's not because it's too much money. It never is, because you never even remember at the end of the day how much you agreed to. I bought a house 10 months ago. I have no idea what I paid, and I can't remember what we got in closing.
You care about the mortgage payment.
Exactly.
That's the only thing
you don't remember,
should care
right?
about. Yes.
What happens is you get emotional. Why do you get emotional? Because it is deviating from your expectations. I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't expecting when I agreed to that offer, I was already agreeing to a lower price than I expected because my agent probably didn't set the right expectations, or I let the seller control the narrative in the listing presentation, right? I let them think their house was worth more than it actually is. And I still took the listing and I didn't have a written into my agreement cadence of price reductions and all the things that would set expectations if they even were overpriced. And then I didn't know I was going to have to pay maybe thousands of more dollars in repairs because it's a high inventory market. I haven't changed my roof in 14 years. My HVAC upstairs hasn't been turned on since 2003, right? Because when my kids went off to college, right? And my agent didn't set the expectations that the buyer, who's got a whole bunch of houses to look at right now, might want me to fix these things. If I had expected it, maybe I wouldn't demonize the other side and we would still have a deal right now. So agents not setting expectations is huge. Why are they not setting expectations? Two things. They're not getting enough repetitions. Okay.
They're not what?
They're not getting enough repetitions. They're not running enough appointments, right? If I worked out once a year, do you think I'd do things with the right form?
Well,
I wouldn't look like I work out, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not getting enough repetitions. And then two, I am coming from a place of scarcity in the appointment. I want to do everything I can to just get you to like me and sign the listing agreement or the buyer rep. So I'll just tell you what you want to hear.
a lot right now.
And so then what happens? Well, as an agent, boots on the ground right now, where's my opportunity? All of these stories of terminated contracts, all these stories of listings that have sat for a long time. You see the terminations, you're in this business, right? It's a high volume of terminations right now. It's a high volume of expireds and canceleds right now. It's a high volume of sellers that went on the market thinking one thing, not getting that result, and now they're free agents. Do you think they stopped wanting to sell?
No.
They're waiting to align with the right expert that's going to talk to them the way that Nick just talked to his buyers. That's the opportunity. I feel like in the age of AI, like Nick and I just spent 4 hours doing an AI presentation. I talked all about Claude and everything we're doing with it.
Oh, spoiler alert.
But
That's the next subject.
But don't think that's changed my mind around what is effective. I sometimes feel like when I tell agents right now what you should be doing every day is getting up and calling expireds for 2 hours, I feel like they look at me like I'm 80 years old. Like I'm like, like rubbing two sticks together to make fire, right? Like, no, that's actually where the most opportunity for people is right now, because those people already said they wanted a different result than they got. They just didn't have the right person to give it to them. Yeah. And so what are we doing creating so many TikToks? I'm not saying don't use social media, but I'm just saying is if everybody's doing the same thing and all we're really trying to do is avoid the hard work, well, that opens up a huge door of people out there that are getting out of the business because they didn't want to put in the work, but there's still a whole lot of people out there that need the right agent that are willing to work with them, and their phone's not ringing.
Sometimes the road less travel is the fastest way to get
100%. Right?
Yeah, I think this is an very interesting conversation. And it falls in line with what you guys talk about on your podcast, right? Again, I was super surprised to hear what you guys were discussing. It's literally the nuts and bolts of real estate, and it's the same nuts and bolts that have always been.
But here's the sad part is that we got more attention on our other podcasts because we didn't talk about the nuts and bolts. We talk about nuts and bolts and it gets less engagements, less views. And that podcast, the new podcast we're doing, actually has more gold, more action-packed items, the stuff we spent thousands of dollars on in coaching or, hiring people or consultants. Yep. We're actually just giving it away for free.
100%.
And just like, what is the title of the show again? Surviving?
The title of the show, Survival Strategy.
Survival Strategies. You want to, I'm going to plug you a little bit, Tamera, right?
Thank you.
So
in a positive way?
Well, absolutely. This
just had to.
Right. Today, this is your show. Tomorrow, we're going to be sitting in the same chair.
Yeah.
Survival strategies, right? So I built a business during the 2008 crash. And
I know this because I know your backstory.
I've talked about this, right? I've talked about this plenty of times. Doing the work is one thing. But we talk about the boring. Brian talks about the boring all the time, and on the AI panel today, they're asked. One of the questions was asked, "What do you want to be doing in a year from now? When you look up?" Brian's like, "I just want to spend time with the people I love." Right, and
I relate to that.
Everybody does. Yeah, right? So, like none of this changes what truly is fulfilling in life.
Yeah, so nothing changes. Like, think about this: is survival strategies right now. What you should be doing, and the value that you have, Tamera, is like we all grew up in this industry. You were selling other products during that time, and do you recall what we used to do? We used to go. There was a Tuesday happy hour. We used to call it. It's called group therapy, and sometimes you would come. It was an unsanctioned Keller Williams event, right? We didn't. It was just an office event. We're like, hey, group therapy was on Tuesdays, and we picked Tuesdays because there used to be a bar right down the road from here that had the cheapest drinks, and we would all go there at 4:00. You could come and go as you please, and we would just share stories. It was connecting with our fellow agents. And I'll tell you right now, some of my best friends came out of that. Oh, yeah. And if I'm you, Tamera, number one, you are a Rolodex of connections. So what I'm going to task you with is you need to start your own group therapy. You need to have your agents and bring them all in. You're not trying to get their title business yet, Well, you should be closing with Tamera.
I mean, eventually.
Right?
Yeah.
Eventually.
I mean, we got to do the conversion part.
But you need to be coming and going to some type of, whether you drink or not, you need to be having your network of agents, because you're all going to learn and share, and eventually your egos will come down. In the beginning, everyone's egos are up. They're trying to toot their own horns, and then you actually, just like when working with a client, especially a seller in today's market, after you talk to them enough, you realize maybe they're going through some crap. Maybe they're going through some financial stress. Maybe they're going through maybe they got some type of bad health report coming out, or God forbid getting divorced. Right? That happens at these kind of networking events. There's no agenda behind it other than, hey, let's just talk shop. Let's just chat about what's working. Let's talk about our pain in the ass clients. Because you know what? That's actually that's healthy. Because when you talk about that with other agents, like, oh, trust me, you want to hear this story, you want to hear this one, hear this one, then you don't start shouldering all those emotions.
Yeah.
And then you drop your egos on the negotiations, and then you start getting around people. Then you start to gravitate to the ones that are actually producing and the ones that are building a business like you want to be built.
Yep. No, it's exactly like I have 2 mastermind groups. One I've been running for 5 years now.
Oh wow!
And we haven't been invited.
Yeah,
I know. It's a power. It's a good room. And
power.
And
we're not. Yeah,
power.
Yeah.
No, you're on my. Anyway, I'm not getting it. You're not doing that to me today. Anyway, we've melded. And so those are the kinds of things that we talk about. And you do find comfort when you're not alone, right?
Yes.
The same issues. That's why I created the group.
Yeah.
Because it was during COVID and everybody was talking about they're all calling me, asking me what I'm hearing from agents with the same issues. And I was like, okay, enough of this. We're all getting in a room together, right? And so now the group's been running over 5 years now. And
that's awesome.
I mean, it's got an advisory council and membership rules and the whole thing. I mean, there's $550 million in production in the room. So I've worked hard to build that room, but that's not the point. The point is that we have those group therapy conversations, right? And there's an opportunity for everyone to kind of come together and talk about what hurts right now.
So if agents aren't going to answer some of your questions, what's happening? Like if agents aren't going, that is their choice. They're making a choice between, not that they'll be successful or not, but again, the more that you plug in, the more that you get out. And I've noticed that, I've noticed top producers who have disconnected and then put themselves on an island. And then ultimately what you do is you start to see them shrink. And honestly, their ideas become very isolated. They become this isolation style thought process, and they go with this scarcity mindset. And Brian and I will share everything. If you know Brian and I very well, we don't care. Open book. We will share. We throw the weekly or the monthly meetups, and we'll give away the farm. Yeah. Because number one, the more that we give away, the more that it comes back. And
I'm sure you guys learn things too.
We learn a lot, and we make a lot of great connections. Like the more blessed you are, the more you realize how much more there is out there that you're not even touching right now. That with the right people, that you can learn so much more and do so many more things. So I
agree with all that.
It's got to be giving, right?
Nobody has a secret. When are the meetups?
It's the last Thursday of every month. Now the last we're going to start them back up after July.
After August,
we'll get it back going in August.
Oh, you're going to do them in
August, September, October. Look, no, but it's consistency. Yeah. It's the same thing of how many episodes is this? 133? 133. So you now have this routine. This is consistent. Do you know that what's the stat, Brian? Most podcasts end at what?
11?
Is it 11?
7 to 11 or something like that? One of those numbers. 7. Okay, yeah.
So most people stop at 7. So we don't care in August if we get 10 people showing up.
Got it.
What we do is we put it on the calendar. It needs to happen, right? Just like the weekly podcast, This Week in DFW Real Estate. It needs, we're back. We're on episode 13, 14, whatever it is. And so we're back in that routine. We did almost 250 episodes of the only real estate podcast worth listening to.
It was bad to the bone.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, wait a minute. Why are we not doing this anymore? But I really like the new one. I liked them both for very different reasons, but I like the new one.
Look, everything.
Y'all need to be watching their podcast. 100%.
There are seasonalities in life, and that was a great season. That is what built all myself, Brian, Matt. That's helped mold us to who we are today.
100%.
We're better. Brian and I are better presenters and speakers because of that show.
Yes. If we could only get you to say realtors correctly, then.
I mean, I say realtors any way I want to say it.
Wait a minute. You just.
I think he just did it right.
It could be that I'm just messing with every single one of you.
Anyway, we can talk about realtors and NAR in a different time. But okay, so wait a minute, you're kind of tapping into this a little bit, and I did have a question for you. Why did you guys purchase the Facebook group DFW Realtors?
Our belief is that, number one, we are all about collaboration. And so Brian and I, we all go through seasons, right? We all have, down tough times in our life. But we've been blessed more than we've been hurt. Mm-hmm. And so, this is our calling to give back to the industry. And so, Brian had built a massive real estate book of business, selling 450 homes, right? For $150 plus million in real estate. And
you're such a hustler.
And to be transparent, he also has seen the downside where it can all go. Mm-hmm. And how tough this business is.
Yeah.
And so, we have built, I have built a massive real estate investment firm, and because of the losses that I've had with my brother passing away, that industry and that side's gone. And so but
that thing was a monster.
Yes, it was. What we were building was huge.
It was monster.
And then overnight it was gone. Yeah. And so when we look at it, it's like, Brian and I have a lot of experience and expertise to give back, and we don't do it in these kind of bait and switch gimmicky stuff. We're not selling coaching. We're not selling events or anything else like that. We want you to come to our events. Do we have agendas behind it? Absolutely. We want people to use the property management company that we're partnering. We have a home servicing company, a GC, basically a general contracting company. We have our Get Residual Agent network. We call it the RAN network, the Residual Agent Network, where we're helping people understand.
Oh yeah, that's a new thing. I was going to tap into that today.
What we're doing, maybe we've done this. We're pretty good podcast hosts. You're amazing at this. And
thank you.
So when you think about it, how can we teach agents to be their own Berkshire Hathaway style companies where you have a little sliver of a little bit of everything? Because we have to change the mindset of agents. Just like at our AI event today, Brian blew their minds. I'm going to tell you right now, when he was up there, you could see they're writing, they're typing, they're coming and asking questions. We had, I don't know how many people signed up on the QR code. Probably 30, 40 people signed up to get more information about what he was doing with AI. But when I look at all this and we have these conversations, we said at the end of this event that if you want to be replaced by AI, at the AI event, it's going to replace you. Yeah. Right? If agents want to get replaced because they're not willing to learn how to build this as a business, they're going to get replaced. But the ones that get curious and all right, let me see, how could I add utility concierge into my world and and add value to my clients? Because how do you add value? The same thing I asked you, Tamera, offline. I said, how do you as a title person add value? And you like my expertise, my Rolodex, right? You've got your networking groups. Mm-hmm. There's actually a lot more that you haven't touched on just yet. Having this,
to hear what that is.
Well, having this show, you don't highlight that enough. Having the show where you get to bring agents in to be able to speak about their business and give them a platform. They're not doing it on their own. You're bringing them and helping them do that. Mm-hmm. So if you think about it, you're elevating them. And so, but agents don't do this on their own. So when you really think about everything that we're doing and why we purchased that group, one, does it help us push our ball forward? Absolutely. There's always a reason why we're doing it. But
for salespeople, it's okay to have an agenda.
100. But if we can do it in a most ethical way, and help agents sell more houses, I'm not trying to recruit. There was a REMAX guy in there saying that we were trying to recruit. Brian and I aren't at the same brokerages, by the way. So what are we recruiting to? Right. That this is not a recruitment tool. If they want to join us, they can join either one of us. That's great. But what we want to do, can we help them make more money? Can we earn their business as a property management company? Can we earn their business as a remodeling, roofing, HVAC company? Hopefully, right? Can we show them how to expand their mind to get a little slice of every piece of the action out there and say, hey, right now, the first step, you're already working with buyers. It's free. This is a value add. By the way,
no. I mean, they're the components, if I have them correct, and you can obviously utility concierge, insurance, inspection, transaction coordinating. Do I have everything?
that we all have.
I mean, you obviously
Yes
have the
and no.
property management.
Yes,
and
transaction coordination is Brian and ladies. We don't have insurance, not yet.
Okay.
It's close.
Well, y'all didn't do the pre-podcast conversation,
Nope.
so I had to
No,
go
that's
elsewhere
okay.
for my
No.
sources.
Yeah.
We're doing the event earlier. I'm
Thank you,
sorry.
Jesse, for
Yeah.
helping me put this together.
But here's the whole point of this is the number one goal is to expand the agent's mind into putting confidence behind them.
Yeah, I love it.
Brian thinks in terms of systems and processes.
I know. I
So-
wish I could like see inside your head.
No, you don't.
But then I'm scared to do that, so I say no.
So I'll give you a perfect example of this. I could go and say, hey, Brian, we're doing this, which I put him on the spot and say, hey, you're doing this A event. He didn't have a choice, right? and he got an hour. He went over his hour. Brian, when it gets to the processes and the procedures, it is so detailed oriented that your mind will go, you'll turn to mush. Like it's just like, but
I
that's
remember the days of the Rook. He would do the same thing.
right? So that's how Brian operates and thinks, and then you get it to where I can help dumb it down for everybody. Just
And take away 3 golden nuggets or whatever
because
it is.
because they're like, Brian can talk so high level, then it's like, all right, we got to land the plane.
Yeah.
And so then we land the plane. It's like, hey, it's these 3 items. Go take away with it, and then go sign up so that you can start getting a piece of Brian's brain, which is what we used to call it on the tour podcast, Brian's billionaire
ideas.
Yeah, Brian.
Man, it was a whole different chapter back then. So
Brian's
much fun.
billionaire ideas. And so when we look at what Brian has to offer, what I have to offer in terms of we meld it together, it just made sense for us to own that group.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap up for today, but you guys have so many resources to help realtors. So if someone wanted to reach out to you to talk to you more and deep dive into this, what's the best way to do that? When you have the meetups, we'll talk about those again. But in the interim, how do they reach out to you?
I mean, they just need to go to our Realtor Facebook group. So the DFW Realtors, right? DFW Realtors.
No.
Yes. See? No. Yes. Just go there. It's the one with 35,000. It's the one that has 35,000 members.
DFW Realtors on Facebook. It's
On
a
Facebook
group.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Eventually we'll put a domain name in there, but it's the one that has 35,000 members in it. There's some other ones out there, often imitated, but never.
I don't know how Facebook allows you to do that.
I don't either. We have the largest. We have one of the largest ones here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So go and connect with us on there. Just don't spam us because I'm going to tell you
I
right
know
now.
we're going to talk. Jesse is shaking his head.
Jesse's a moderator in there.
Don't spam the group.
Yes.
And I know you don't think it's spam, but if we allowed everyone to post their open houses and listings in there, it's all the group would be.
Yes.
So we remove them, and we're not trying to hurt your feelings. It's just, it's supposed to be a place for us to share and learn and grow, not just a place for you to tell us about what's happening from 2 to 4 on Saturday.
No, and I can, and look, I love my realtors, and I want to preface this by saying I will always do whatever I can to help them. But when I was at Home Warranty, I used to share the listings all the time. So now on my Facebook history, my memories are coming, and all it's all open houses and listing flyers. Yep. When we came over to lawyers, we can't do that.
As
right?
you shouldn't. No one's buying a house because you as the title rep shared it.
Yeah.
Right? Like you offer a lot more value. Number one is if you want to get on this show, go send her some business. Like that, I will tell you, if I'm sending you enough business, you're going to put me on the show. Yes or no?
Yeah, well, I have other people on the show that don't send me business, but the idea, there is an agenda.
Sure.
We're salespeople. There's always an agenda. Right. And I'm not sorry about it.
We should, again, it goes back into what are we doing? You are a salesperson for lawyers.
I am.
We are licensed salespeople by the Texas Real Estate Commission. We should not apologize for pushing our ball forward.
Yep.
Right? This is why you're doing this to get a paycheck. You're doing this to eventually retire. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. So don't apologize for that. Just tell them, hey, this is what we're going to do. Transparency is the best thing that happens.
Yeah.
When you tell people the reason why I'm doing this so that eventually you're going to start closing with me, I'm going to tell you up front. Like if I was look, I'll tell you right now, if I was in the title business, number one, that's be my whole pitch. I'm going to meet with you. I'm going to share strategies. I'm going to get you. I'm going to highlight and help you. Have a platform. But in return, because this is how I make a living, and I don't want to get fired, you're going to send business here.
Yep.
And if we don't do that, then we have to have a different conversation.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be the best damn title rep out there.
Yep.
And if you close with someone else, then you're dead to me.
All right. Well, that's where we're going to end the show today.
Always wrap with that.
Yeah. Always be closing. Okay. Anyway, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you coming on the show today, taking the time to do it. Always a plethora of information. So you guys really need to watch the episode today because there are a ton of golden nuggets. So anyway, that's a wrap on episode number 133 with the Closing Table with Lawyers title. Again, I'm your host, Tamera Gaede. If you like my content, you're really going to love my escrow team. So give me an opportunity to work with you on your title needs and make it a great day.
Gather round the table.